very clearly indicated initially again the strategic importance and the geographic importance of Sri Lanka, and also how we should move forward. Especially currently we are ranked in the 30th position, and with the establishment of the second international harbor at Hambantota, the capabilities of Sri Lanka will move ahead. And also he was discussing about the maritime security issues, mainly on the conventional maritime threats, the maritime terrorism, which we have faced for more than 3 decades, and our Navy has very effectively formulated new concepts to defeat their strategies, and that is one of the models that we could discuss. And also about the piracy, drug trafficking, human smuggling, and IUU fishing, etc. And also he emphasized on the need for regional cooperation in maritime operations. And especially in his recommendations also he mentioned about the joint patrols and joint initiatives, joint naval exercises, and these things would definitely enhance the Indian Ocean security, and it's imperative for Sri Lanka to maintain a strong navy. However, we should be mindful of the consequences also in terms of economy and finances involved in maintaining a big navy, dark water navy. So with that, we'll coming on to the next speaker. He is Air Marshal Kapila Jayampathy. Sorry, Air Vice Marshal Kapila Jayampathy, WWV, RWP, RSP, 3 bars, MSc, MSc, then MIM, and QHI, fndu, China. He'll be deliberating on the ensuring a secure and a safe airspace in pursuit of Sri Lanka's ambition to become the aviation hub of the region. Air Vice Marshal Kapila Jayampathy joined the Sri Lanka Air Force on 5th March 1982. He had followed his basic ground combat course at Sri Lanka Air Force Diyatalava and subsequently basic flying training at the Flying Training Wing, Sri Lanka Air Force Base, China Bay. Upon completion of his advanced helicopter training at Sri Lanka Air Force Base, Kattunayake, he was commissioned as a pilot officer in the General Duties Pilot Branch on 1st April 1985. He is a qualified helicopter instructor with an exceptional A2 instructor grading to his credit. Among many appointments that he had held during the service, Commanding Officer of the No. 7 Helicopter Squadron at Sri Lanka Air Force Base, Hinguragoda, Commanding Officer of the No. 6 Heavy Lift Mi-17 Russian-built Helicopter Squadron at Sri Lanka Air Force Base, Vaunia, Base Commander Sri Lanka Air Force Base, Hinguragoda, Kattunayake, and China Bay. Also, he served as the Commandant of the Air Force Academy, China Bay. Then as the Director Logistics of the Air Force Board of Management, and his present appointment as the Director Air Operations are significant. During his tenure in January 2005, he was appointed as a Defense Advisor to the Sri Lanka High Commission in Islamabad, Pakistan. In the year 2007, he was appointed as a competent authority for the Bandaranaike International Airport. He had followed many courses locally and in USA, China, UK, Thailand, India, and Pakistan. He had attended National Defense University of China in 2008-2009 and graduated with distinguished colors and a fellowship. He has been awarded with decorations for bravery in recognition of his dedicated service in the face of daring enemy attacks. AVM Kapila is married and he is blessed with 3 children. Over to you, Kapila.
Chairman, General Milind Piris, thank you very much for the introduction made on my behalf. Distinguished invitees, dear friends from Sri Lanka and from friendly foreign nations, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome. It gives me immense pleasure to address a gathering of this caliber in this forum today. Moreover, I am delighted that have been given the opportunity to talk on a subject of my professional area, ensuring a secure and safe airspace in pursuit of Sri Lanka's ambition to become the aviation hub of the region. As we all know, aviation has been a major driving force for the economies and being the fastest mode of state and transcontinental travel, and has brought communities and cultures into quickest and close contacts, becoming an inevitable part of the contemporary human relations. Technology and training has affected to strengthen the pivots between the man, machine and the environment on which the aviation industry is propelled to new heights. Therefore, optimization of economic gains of aviation, far-sighted policies, thinking, timely investment, efficient management, and providing safe and secure environment to keep potential threats away have become a vital requirement for any country. Anyone with the slightest understanding of the world history will agree with me if I say Sri Lanka's strategic geographical location has commanded the trade routes in the Indian Ocean region from the west to the east and vice versa from ancient times. The historic Silk Route connecting the east with the west had crossed Sri Lanka. As a result, there would have been plenty of transshipments taking place routed by Sri Lanka even then. Sri Lanka was relieved from a bitter separatism and terrorist war after 30 years in 2009, becoming an example to defeat terrorism completely. Aviation was one of the main industries that were being threatened by terrorism throughout the conflict. However, post-conflict social reintegration and peaceful environment has enabled Sri Lanka to fully focus on economic development. With respect to aviation, ensuring secure and safe airspace is a priority for any nation as aviation has become a bridge of international economies. Sri Lanka has identified aviation as a key economic growth area and has taken policy decisions to promote the country as an aviation hub in the region. As it has been a strategic port in the past, it has the potential to be an aviation hub that would be linking the regional air network benefiting Sri Lanka. Here, I would be focusing on the following aspects of the topic. Sri Lanka's geopolitical potential for aviation industry. Post-war economic development through sustainable peace. Safety and security, the political will. His Excellency the President, Mahinda Rajapaksa, even before he came into power in 2005, had this concept of Sri Lanka as an aviation hub. He clearly spelled out this in his election manifesto, the Mahinda Chintana. Few years have passed, and during this very short period of time, Sri Lankan aviation has worked towards achieving this aim. This includes the landmark developments in aviation-related infrastructure, such as the launch of the Mahinda Rajapaksa International Airport in Mattala. As we all know, geography as well as peace and security are top priority for a viable aviation industry. The world has witnessed a few airline tragedies in the very recent past, and they have reminded the whole world the inevitable need to keep the aviation business out of all possible threats, emphasizing the need of keeping the airspace peaceful for the civil airline operators. To mention a few, the recent tragedies of Malaysian Airlines MH370 flying from KL to Beijing, the MH17 shot down over Ukraine, attack on the Karachi International Airport, and overflying warnings over conflict zones in the Middle East have indicated that the threats are real and at times unpredictable. On the other hand, it has gone to the extent of arming civil airlines with anti-missile systems or countermeasures, as it has been reportedly done by the Israelis. In fact, the post-war Sri Lanka is enjoying an extremely peaceful sky, and Sri Lanka is proud to say that it's a friendly sky for all operators for a healthy aviation business. The post-war Sri Lanka has been characterized by a strong government with a greater political stability. Ladies and gentlemen, as I pointed out at the beginning, Sri Lanka's ambition to become an aviation hub in the region derives with several potential aspects, but its geographical potential being the number one. Strategically located at the hinge between the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea, it is the center port between China and the Middle East. Therefore, from Colombo, all major Asian cities can be reached in approximately 4 hours. Further, all European cities are within the reach from 8 to 10 hours. It is also said that some of the market potentials also will bring favor to the Sri Lankan aviation. For an example, the Airbus and the Boeing, 50% of their markets have been targeted in the Asia-Pacific region in the years to come. Also, another fact that would be levering the industry is that Sri Lanka has begun oil exploration in the exclusive economic zone, which will enable to strengthen its economy while being an added advantage into the aviation industry. Tourism, ladies and gentlemen, as it is well known in the past, after the war, Sri Lanka has again rapidly gaining attraction as a tourist hotspot. This would be a great potential for the aviation industry. Combination of international network and fusing that with the domestic route network and enhanced accessibility would make a key facility for mutual growth in the tourism and aviation. As you all know, a better aviation industry contributes for a viable economy. There are several key characteristics concerned for being an aviation hub, such as the annual passenger and aircraft movements, cargo handling, and revenue, to mention a few. Capacity building and improvement, areas for one on the lookout to be an aviation hub. Leading to this, Sri Lanka is already in the process of making simultaneous improvements on the following aspects, such as development of aviation infrastructure, airline fleet modernization and expansion, improving local and international aviation affairs, expanding and improving aviation-related functions and activities. Talking on the development, ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka already has 13 local airports in the country, and we are in the process of adding 2 more to the network, namely Pahlavi and Kandy, in the near future. Airline fleet modernization. Ladies and gentlemen, another important need is the fleet expansion. Sri Lankan Airlines, the national carrier, aims to boost its fleet to 30 aircraft over the next few years. In April 2013, the government approval was given to acquire 4 Airbus 350-900s and 6 A330-300 aircraft to the existing fleet, with deliveries starting from this year. Also, liberalization of the domestic aviation market, domestic partnerships to enhance network operations, launching of budget airline, and promotion of amphibian operations are other aspects of aimed expansion. Mihin Lanka, the budget airline, is a major step bringing the aviation to ordinary masses. Improving and local and international aviation affairs. With that, there were some improvements made by Sri Lanka to enhance the local and international aviation affairs. The national air carrier is presently flying to 83 destinations in 39 countries. New bilateral agreements were signed between Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Spain, New Zealand, Ethiopia, and Finland. Sri Lankan has joined the elite One World Club in 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka proposes a multitude of activities, as depicted on the slide, as a way forward in achieving the objective of Sri Lanka becoming an aviation hub in the region. When talking on the safety and security, here I would like to quote a statement made by the Honorable Secretary of Defense and Urban Development, Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa. I quote, "Without security and stability, there will be no economic development," unquote. With this in mind, it is important for us to give due consideration to the following: aviation terrorism, unlawful interference, sabotage, using aviation for illegal activities. Ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka is responsible for an FIR that extends over 97,500 square kilometers, with vertical limits up to 46,000 feet and neighboring to FIRs of Chennai, Malé, Medan, and Melbourne. And with the growth of the sector, an efficient and safe traffic flow management is a necessity. Keeping this in mind, for optimization of airspace for increasing traffic volume, Sri Lanka has been modernizing navigation and communication facilities, such as the radar and HF, to cover the entire Sri Lankan FIR. Further, modern traffic monitoring and communication capabilities, namely automatic dependent surveillance broadcast, a system for efficient communication between pilots and air traffic controllers, will be ready in 2015. Airspace surveillance and monitoring is essential for building a proper air safety picture for efficient control. Currently, radar monitoring is carried out by both civil and military radar capabilities. Apart from Colombo Area Control Center, the Sri Lanka Air Force radars too have the capability to track aircraft up to 200 nautical miles, and information is shared whenever required. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about air and ground threat aversion and prevention, we enhance the ground security apparatus at international and domestic airports in coordination with government forces, law enforcement agencies, which are already in place. Continuous exchange of local and international intelligence assessments are performed regularly. Routine checks of all cargo personnel at the terminals. Close coordination of emergency services are in place. Chairman, sir, ladies and gentlemen, further, the Air Defence Identification Zone is imposed and managed by Air Defence Control Center of the Air Force. This has further enhanced the air traffic monitoring and identification. The SLAF has a joint coordination mechanism with the civil radar network. Compliance with AD identification requirement is necessary for all operators, and any unauthorized entries would be dealt as per the international regulations by the Air Force. Search and rescue. When we are talking about ensuring a safe airspace, it is equally important to have a well-organized and efficient SAR mechanism in place. Search and rescue is one of the major aspects of aviation safety considerations. Sri Lanka is responsible for search and rescue within its FIR and in the area, As mentioned earlier, it spreads approximately 97,500 square kilometers. Sri Lankan Disaster Management Center, a parliament-approved establishment, and it has a joint mechanism in coordination with the Air Traffic Control Center, Sri Lanka Air Force, the Navy, and the Coast Guard, and Maritime Environment Protection Authority to undertake any SR activities within the region. With all the predictions on the growth in the industry, we have strongly felt the need to enhance our capabilities and the reach within the area of our interest. It is also influenced in the FIR as well as in the exclusive economic zone for prompt and effective response. The Sri Lankan Navy is improving its capabilities with recent established Coast Guard unit. Sri Lanka Air Force has already made initiatives to acquire suitable platforms that would be more maritime oriented with long-range capabilities for SAR, as well as for the policing and securing Sri Lanka interests. No need to remind that we had bitter lessons dealing with LTD's global arms network that brought not only SAMs but even aircraft. We are optimistic that the SLAF capabilities on SCR, search and rescue, and ISR, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance, and interception would grow fast. The need for such acquisitions is a long-felt one, and the government is in the process of acquiring a modern interceptor with all-weather capability and AEW, early warning radar warning platforms, to ensure safe and secure airspace. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, before I make the conclusive remarks, I would like to focus your imaginations on the fact that the aviation technology has now won the focus of aerospace travel and tourism. Also, the day would not be far away that ordinary people like you and me would be traveling on a hypersonic unmanned capsule between continents, provided that the safety and security kept the promises 100%. The industry, which began a century back, has realized to an unimaginable dream for mankind with supersonic speed. For everyone who thinks those 100 years of history is too short for that level of development in the industry. In fact, aviation has achieved this thanks to the safety and security assured for all of us by the industry. So any threat to the safety would inevitably lead for disasters, loss of lives, human and material, retarding growth, less profit, or complete collapse of the industry. Sri Lanka has learned with her past experience the need for keeping a better safety standard and enhanced security for the aviation industry. Finally, I would like to mention that with all these planning efforts and achievements, Sri Lanka is highly ambitious of winning the blue skies in becoming an efficient, safe and secure aviation hub in the region. The civil aviation sector and Sri Lanka Air Force together is fully committed to realize the ambition of Sri Lanka to become the aviation hub in the region through active contribution for the development of aviation and as being leading organizations which ensure a safe and secure airspace for all others pursuing the same goal to make Sri Lanka the regional aviation hub, and finally to realize all our ultimate dream to make Sri Lanka the wonder of Asia. Thank you very much.